Howdy.
Halo.
Halo. That's kind of odd for this video.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're here to do another episode of Versus. Today we will be reviewing and talking about Mr. Branton's choice, Venom. That's his CD. He has the record too. However, it's unlocatable at the moment.
As usual, I have to search for everything and usually have no luck finding it. So it was easier to locate the CD as opposed to the vinyl. And I won't go through this and see if there's a good picture here to show. I don't think there is. No, there isn't. So anyway. Venom Black Metal was their first album in 1982, I think it was. And they were a big influence on Metallica, and a lot of other bands later on picked up their sort of grungy sound. Not that they were grunge, but their lack of ability to play their instruments and so on sort of created a sound. And then the lyrics were very not heavenly. So they're, yeah.
Nothing at all heavenly.
So, what'd you think about this old, because we listened to it today, or she listened to it today. I mean, we both did, but
I've been, I've heard, let's put it that way, a few Venom songs here and there, but I've never listened to them straight through, like from song to song to song to song. So I will say this, my opinion is this: I do not like black metal. I don't like death metal. I don't like black metal. I don't like thrash. I don't like any of that stuff. Not that I don't like it. It's just not appealing to my ear. Let's put it that way. This, I could actually listen to. And I think the reason why I don't like those particular types of metal is because, as I've stated before, I'm a lyric girl. I want to hear the lyrics. That's what draws me into the music. I could actually understand the singer. So I'm going to say, yeah, I liked listening to this. Even though the lyrics weren't heavenly, to say the least. I did enjoy the music. The guitarist is fantastic. I will say that. And I guess there was really only two tracks that I really, really, really liked, that really caught my ear and caught my attention, which was Black Metal and Teacher's Pet. So, I'm not familiar with the band or anything, so I really can't give you any knowledge, per se. That's more his forte. So, we'll let him take the ropes.
I don't know that much, but I only know what I know because I'm, a fan of the band. But they started in 1982 in Newcastle, and they were doing something different that not too many other bands were doing, and not just in sounds, but their image and their stage show. They said in an interview, they said, if you're going to do pyro, do over-the-top pyro. They were influenced by Kiss, like a lot of bands, and Kronos, the lead singer and bass player, you see him do some Gene Simmons at times, which is probably subconscious for him to do that, just because he was influenced. And it started out as a 4-piece, and then eventually became a 3-piece. I think before their first album they were a 3-piece, because they went through a lot of lineup changes before they ended up with, I think it was Abaddon, Kronos, and what was the other guy's name? I should have known that. Mantis, that was it. Came to me before I ever got to that. So, I remember seeing a couple of their albums. I want to say they were vinyl albums. There was a place in near here that it was called the Record Hive, and they sold used formats of music. And somebody had brought in a couple. They brought in Venom's "At War with Satan" album, and I think "Welcome to Hell" was the other one, which is their second and third album. And I remember seeing those and thinking, this is some scary stuff. I don't, I had no desire to buy it at that point because I was sort of afraid of it. And I don't remember what year that was, but their third album looks like a book. It's made out to look like a leather-bound book, and it's sort of a takeoff on I think the poster for Cheerleaders for Satan movie, I think, is what it's sort of taken off after. I might be wrong about that, but so anyway, this album was their first album, and a lot of black metal bands or people in general that refer to black metal, some people say that Venom was the very first black metal band. Some people say they're a black metal prototype band because they don't sound like black metal later, became with the first wave. And people will throw them into that just because their album was called black metal and they had a song called black metal. I think they were a prototype for that. I don't think that they really sounded like bands that came after them, like Dark Throne and Bathory and some of those, Mayhem. But I think that they had to exist for someone to be influenced to carry it farther.
Well, they came before all those bands, didn't they?
Right. Yeah, they were before all that. And they were clumped into the new wave of British heavy metal. And see right here in the spine it says NWOBHM for new wave of British heavy metal. So some people consider them to be that, and some people consider them a thrash band, which they were sort of that too. I mean, they're one of those bands that have crossover appeal and sound like a lot of different metal genres at the time. But as far as the lyrics are very satanic, I guess you guys get that out there if you don't know Venom from what we've said so far. And it's sort of a growly vocal.
But it's more clean, I think. Than...
It's you can understand what they're singing about. I mean, it's very clear. It's not like
it's not like Cookie Monster stuff.
Not really. Not like death metal it is. No. If you like hard-edged music, if you like the music that's sort of kitschy, like 80s over the top when it comes to the lyrics and the image, and you'd like this. I'm sure anyone watching this video, if you're into metal at all, you're very aware of Venom, and you probably have some of their stuff. I don't have anything else to say, but if you're curious at all, check this album out. I'd say their first 4 albums are essential, which would be this one, Welcome to Hell, At War with Satan, and Possessed. Those all would be essential to get, and the box set if you can find it. So, I don't have anything else to say about it, but if you have any comments,
well, what's your favorite songs off of here?
I like the album as a whole. Now this is the reissue, so it has a lot of bonus tracks. There's like 20 tracks on here altogether because of the bonus tracks. But if you accounting just the original album, I like it as a whole. Which there was 10 tracks on the original, and there's 11. There's a bonus on the original here too. The very first song I heard from Venom was Black Metal. And it was on a Metal Killers compilation. It was called Metal Killers Collection. I think it was Volume 2. I had on cassette that I found at, I don't remember where I bought it. And it had Black Metal on it, the track. And then it also had Diano Antigua, which is another great song, by the original singer for Iron Maiden when he went solo. but it had a lot of great songs on it, and I wasn't aware of any of those bands or those songs at the time. So that track is one that the first one I'd heard, and it's like, who is this? Later I found out, oh, it's this band, this real over-the-top band. And I had a VHS tape of them doing a song live. I want to say it was Witching Hour, or could have been Bloodlust, I'm not sure. I don't think Witching Hour is on this one. Bloodlust is not on this, it must be all on their second album. But anyway, I take the album as a whole. I don't have one specific favorite track because I like the sound is so defined with the band that all their songs to me are equal. It's just one of those bands where I like everything I've heard, no matter how cheesy it can be. And I want to also mention that Kronos, the lead singer of Venom, is currently touring with Venom, the band he's had together for I don't know how many years once they reformed. They're not all original members because the other two original members from the classic lineup on this album also have their own band called Venom Inc. and with a different lead singer. And that band, their lead singer sounds exactly like the classic Venom. I can't tell the difference. They sound that good. So, if you're interested in checking out Venom Inc., that's another outlet for the same material, more or less. Seems like a lot of those 80s bands, there's two versions of all of them anymore. So it's good and bad. I mean, you don't want to get into a lot of the details of that stuff. You just have to either like them both or pick the one you like and go with that. But anyway, yeah, I like all the tracks on here.
So what would you rate it? How many spins would you give it?
I'd give it 10.
Of course
because
you would.
it's just because I'm a fan of the band. And they're one of those bands that I go to when I'm in that classic thrash metal mood, with Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. It's just in that vein for me. If I want to listen to black metal, I usually don't, and I don't mean the album, I mean the genre. I usually don't listen to this. I would listen to some of the later bands that came afterwards that could have been influenced by this, or some of them maybe not. So yeah, I would consider this more of a thrash metal band or album, or even new wave of British heavy metal to a point.
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah. Because if you put this side by side with a Dark Throne album, for example, you're ultimately going to see drastic differences as far as the sound more than anything else. The lyrics are going to be the same as far as the topics of the lyrics, but as far as the sound, it's more, true black metal is more guttural, it's more cavernous, it's more, you can't understand what they're saying, really. And it's more of a double drum beat, blast beats as they refer to, and it's just, and some people, and it's a lot more lo-fi. I mean, this is not like really polished, but black metal is even more lo-fi than this. I mean, this at the time was like as lo-fi as you can get, but as time goes on, people find other ways to make things worse and or better, which way you want to look at it. So yeah, 10 spins for this.
I would say, considering I don't like thrash, I don't like death, and I don't like black metal, and I did enjoy this, I'm going to give it a 7, which is, that's saying a lot. So
Lucky 7.
If you do enjoy those genres or have never tried those genres, I would say try this. Really try it. If you do like Venom, we would love to hear your comments. If you do try it, let us know what you think about it. We love talking to y'all, so please be sure to leave your comments down below. And thanks for subscribing. But before we go, let me tell you what we'll be doing next time. It's my choice. So we're going to be doing Heart, Little Queen.
I knew we'd get around to that eventually.
So that's what our verses will be next time. Hope you enjoyed this review. And thanks for subscribing and watching. We will talk to you soon.
Sooner than later, people.